tabs on superheroes over the years, and John, or Charge, has been one of my most interesting marks. There are many other individuals out there with special abilities like Charge. They can do things that are physically impossible, things you couldn't believe. Things I assure you, you have never before seen.
You know, he was doing a lot of traveling and staying away for a long time. So the people that were really close to him were really concerned, and me included. I hadn't heard from him in months. And I would text him and he would eventually get back to me, but...
John kind of just made everyone feel stupid. The crazy shit would come out of his mouth, and you just wouldn't know what to think about it.
Something about Allie, that whenever she was around you, you were just in a good mood. She had this aura about her, and when she was happy, you were happy. When she was sad, all you wanted to do was just cheer her up.
I don't know, man. John was one of those guys, if he didn't want to be found, you weren't going to find him.
He's true to himself and kind to a fault.
A complete psychopath. He's somebody that I'm glad I would never have to meet in person, and glad that none of my friends and family have to meet him.
Allie always made everyone, she brought out a certain type of spell amongst everybody, and she always brought the best out in everybody. It was just a cool person to be around.
But I honestly, I feel like she is one of the greatest people I've ever known in my life.
She used to smile if guys were looking at her.
And as usual, she'd come over with some baggage on her mind. A couple Jack and Cokes later, and she was laughing and singing along, and
when anyone was around her, they felt so good because she made them feel comfortable.
John makes other people feel uncomfortable.
But he didn't give two shits what any of us wanted to do. All he cared about was doing what John wanted to do.
He just liked to help people. That's the way he always was.
Really demonic little son of a bitch. That's all I can give you. Yeah. He was so charismatic to the people that he used and killed.
I don't like the way John, you can never get a straight answer out of him.
John is a despicable person who needs to be shot in the head.
She intimidated me at first because she was a little more, what's the word? Aggressive than I am.
She went downhill, and there was always some baggage, and finally the baggage caught up, and I think it might be all our fault.
They say it's always the quiet ones. But it wasn't this time. Nice, attractive, that guy that offers to walk your dogs while you're out of town, gains your trust, and then...
But he always made sure that everything that he did touch, especially when it came to, possessions like cars and things like that, he had to have everything new.
I don't care for John. I don't like John simply because of the fact that you just can't believe a word that comes out of his mouth.
I'm in college now, and I haven't seen her in a few years, but when I saw that she died...
Devastated.
Miss her terrible.
Could you just tell me a little bit about John and Allie as a couple?
Oh yeah, they were pretty perfect together. And she was pretty and she was funny and smart, and he was more like athletic, so it was like the perfect high school couple. They were they cared for each other so much. I mean, we were only 16, but it was really real. She was really there for him when his mom was murdered, and he had a really hard time with that.
So I thought we could start back in high school. Could you tell me about the good old days?
It's hard for me to remember any good days. I mean, I guess they made a cute couple in high school, but we all knew she could do better. She was drawn to him, so by the time John started acting weird, it was too late. And it sucked to see my best friend so torn up over some stupid guy pretending to be a superhero or whatever. To be honest, when John went missing, I was relieved.
So this is just for a paper, or what's this for?
No, this is for a documentary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really expecting you to be filming, that's all.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you for seeing us.
No worries. Here to help.
I sent through some questions. Shall we get started?
Yeah. Just throw them at me.
Great, let's get started. Can you just tell me a little bit about how you met Allie?
I started seeing Allie after John disappeared. You know, she's referred to me from the hospital where she was admitted for depression. You know, loss is a very complex and difficult emotion. And, you know, most people don't have to deal with that level of loss until much later in life. You know, Ellie was only 18 and, well, she didn't know how to cope. Well, that's what we worked on moving on from John before it happened.
This is a tight community. Everybody knows each other. Everybody likes each other. Stuff like this doesn't happen here every day. It's a close town. If you want to borrow a cup of sugar from your neighbor, they'll give you the whole bag. It's that type of town. That's why when this happened, everyone was affected.
What was the reaction by the community when Allie was murdered?
I would say total shock. Oh, shock and disgustment. People didn't know quite how to react. So, we had to be very careful when investigating this case.
It's a fascinating case. I read through the material you sent. Let's assume for the sake of the story that John is alive. Based on his experiences, the chances are quite high he could be struggling with what many military personnel deal with when they return from a war zone. It's called post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD.
And you believe that if John Ford is still alive, that he may be suffering from PTSD?
Yes.
And would that account for him having gone into hiding?
Based on what you've said, yes. None of his fellow superheroes are alive, which is unfortunate, as PTSD is best dealt with alongside those who have shared the traumatic event. Isolation can be deadly, if not a little depressing, as I think we all know. The human spirit responds positively when it has a tribe. What John experienced was strikingly similar. He was part of a tribe. The four were his tribe. And the battles they fought were their wars.
Yeah, I really just want to help. I just want to say that on the camera, on the air, you know, that I really want to find out who killed Allie, and I want you to get to the bottom of it.
Knowing what you know now and having been a part of John and Allie's life, do you think that John would have killed Allie?
No. Not in the slightest. He would never do anything to her.
Yes. Yes. Without a shadow of a doubt. Because nobody else would have done that to her.
I can't predict what exactly someone would do who doesn't have complete control over their emotions.
Look, I can only comment on who I knew John to be through Allie's eyes. You know, in her mind, she knew him to be the one person who loved her unconditionally. In my experience, love can either be the most invigorating or the most destructive force.
Now, we are still missing several key pieces of evidence, but those will be uncovered in time. The murder weapon and, of course, a suspect. John, or whoever he is in hiding, and we are unable to question him at this time. Once we have those things, we'll be able to determine who killed Allie Andrews.
So, what now, Vicky?
No idea. The bottom line is we can't find someone who doesn't want to be found. Hello?
Vicky O'Neil?
Yes, speaking?
I thought you'd recognize my voice by now.
What? Oh, I don't have time for this.
Well, do you have time for information about Allie Andrews?
Unless this is John Ford, I have all the information I need. Thank you.
This is John Ford.
Oh my god.
Tomorrow, midnight, Dock 23. Come alone.
Wait, John, I'll need to bring... Holy shit.
He said come alone, right? Like, alone.
Jeez, cross some balls. How on earth am I meant to film an interview alone? Look, he needs his story to be heard, but more than that, he needs to be seen. And without you, that's not going to happen, okay?
Okay, that's fine. It's just, he's not gonna kill us, right?
I don't know. We don't even know for sure if he killed Allie, and that's why we're here. We need his side of the story. We're almost there, so shut up. Let's do this. Tell me you're still rolling.
Yeah, Vicky, this is some serious shit you're getting us into.
Look, we're gonna be fine. He needs us, and we need him. Just imagine where this story could take our careers. And we're here to discover the truth.
How will we know if he's even telling the truth?
When you tell the truth, you only have to remember one story. Oh shit, we're slowing down. Turn off the camera.
Vicky, let's go. We need to get out of here.
Can I trust you?
Yes.
Well, the cameraman has already begun recording without my permission. So I ask again, Miss O'Neil. Can I trust you?
Look, John, so far you have tied us up, blindfolded us, and thrown us in the back of a van. At this point, I would say it's not about trust, but we are here to tell your story. Is that what you still want?
Follow me.
Let's go.
Vicky, hold on. Can we hold on just a second? Yep, framed up.
Okay, so are we ready? Are we on?
Yep, sounds good. Rolling.
Okay, good. Let's do it.
The tabloids have called you, among other things, the Night Butcher, more mental than McVeigh, an all-American monster, the heartbroken hero.
Yeah, but the reason I came here was definitely to escape all that gossip. You know, maybe we can actually discuss the truth. What actually is going on, not just the public eye's opinion.
So then tell me, who is the real John Ford?
Who is the real John Ford? Well, this may come as a shock to you, but you're looking at him right now. I'm right in front of you. I'm a regular person just like you, just like anybody else. I wake up in the morning, I eat, go to bed at night. You know, I don't know if you've seen it on TV, but I'm not Bigfoot wandering around the woods, you know, I'm still a person. Unfortunately, everyone knows who's under the mask now, so...
Well, the mask seems to have worked. People from your past have described your life as perfectly normal, that you were an all-American boy.
And you'd like to know how I went from that to allegedly murdering all of my friends, is that it?
We're not accusing you of anything, but can you elaborate on them? You are the last living member of the Four, correct?
That would be correct, as far as I know.
And we know them from the headlines. We know their alter egos, Cutthroat, The Wall, Shadow. But who were Ben, Charlie, and Jill in real life?
Well, it's kind of a complicated question, I mean...
Well, let's start at the beginning. How did you meet?
We all met in college. We were in math class together, and we just wanted to figure out what the hell we were going to do with the rest of our lives like everyone else.
And when did you all find out that you were special?
I think it was about 7 years ago. It was the summer after our first year in college, and we were just driving around the country trying to just figure out something to do, figure out what was next, I don't know. And I think it was around 7 at night. It was just getting dark. You could still see a little bit of color in the sky, and we saw what we swore was this meteor falling from the sky. We could hear it. It had to be like a mile away. So we pulled off the side of the road and we went after it. And when we went out there, we found this big crater. And there was somebody in it. When I went down there to check to see if he was all right, to check if he was alive, he reacted to us, for lack of a better term. The second I touched him, everything just stopped. We all blacked out. And when we woke up, everyone else had changed. Jill could turn invisible. Ben had superhuman speed. Charlie had superhuman strength. And at first, nothing happened to me. Nothing turned on.
When Charge started, he was reckless, like a baby snake. He thought he could learn everything he needed from petty street brawls. He wanted to fit in with his pack, be one of them, but he was different on the inside. He just didn't know how to explain it. He didn't have the tools. When he traveled the world, he found a very powerful Thai kickboxer who taught him how to incapacitate people. This man was well trained in teaching how to take hits. He would break several of your bones in key places, small fractures. Your bones would grow back fuller and stronger, protected by calcium deposits. Charge took what he learned from this man and used it to take back the streets of Metro.
Like, sometimes he would be gone for like a week and he would come back with like a cast on or like cuts. But I couldn't. I tried to ask him where he was when he would go, when he would disappear, and he wouldn't even answer me, ever. He wouldn't answer my text messages. He wouldn't answer my calls. He wouldn't. At school, he would just kind of sit alone, and if I came up to him, he would just get up and walk away. It was so strange.
No.
Do you know John Ford?
I don't know a John Ford.
Charge?
No.
The Ford?
No.
Greenview.
What the world concerns itself with, I don't concern myself with.
Yeah, but I think you know something.
If you insist on comparing me to this guy with the elusive man, you'd be putting yourself in a very precarious situation. One that I don't recommend being in. Leave me alone.
And shortly after we started noticing that we had powers, it became clear that somebody was hunting us, somebody was searching for us. I never really knew what it meant to be tailed before, but I started seeing the same car following me home every day from class. I'd see the same people every day. It was like some sort of weird deja vu, and that's when I knew that someone was coming after us, that somebody out there wanted what we had.
Do you think any of you deserve this kind of power?
I don't think anyone does, but we had it, and we had to deal with that responsibility.
About a month after graduation, he got into a car accident and died. That's what the newspaper said, and there was a story on Channel 1, and yeah, I was pretty sad at first. I believed it at first.
Did Ali?
Yeah. Yeah, she was absolutely devastated. She changed for the worst.
Ali was my patient since John disappeared. Ali decided to come to me because I helped John with the passing of, with the death of his mother. But when she came to me, we all believed that John had died. However, his body was never found, and for all those people left behind, this can lead to what we call ambiguous loss. And so, Ali was suffering from this condition. We were working on navigating how she could come to a resolution given the fact that he was physically missing. When someone's physically missing, the common death rituals that assist us with letting go of a loved one are no longer practiced. Therefore, the individual has no sense of closure, and this can lead to depression and anxiety, which is pretty much what Ali was experiencing. The greatest example, for example, of people experiencing ambiguous loss on a grand scale is 9/11. So therefore, this area of expertise is very, it's relatively new for professionals in all areas. And, I don't want to make excuses, but, given that it's only been around for a number of years, I don't want to say that Ali was my guinea pig, because my heart was in the right place, but something I just didn't know much about at the time.
Some people have questioned if you or the four were, in fact, successful at protecting anyone.
I ask myself the same question every day. I run it in my head over and over again. When we started, people used to claim that we were good people. Until they started to realize what we actually were, what we were capable of, if they got to see what would happen if we'd fail. They started to realize that no matter how many people we'd save, there would always be someone that we couldn't. Someone who we missed, somebody who was still in that building, something would happen. We couldn't save everybody. We couldn't block all the bullets. No matter how many people we fought, no matter how many people we saved, how many villains we destroyed, nothing was ever going to be enough. We would never be powerful enough to make it end.
There's something to be said for a sense of risk creating a bond between people. Technology has come a long way, but it cannot replace this primal connection. When you're eating, walking, sleeping, fighting, existing next to each other, your brain releases oxytocin. Oxytocin creates a bond, a closeness, that is crucial for our survival. John has experienced this closeness, this bond. If he has chosen to go into isolation, it may be because it would be too difficult to integrate into a society that does not offer him any form of bond. And from what I understand, a society that doesn't appreciate what he and his superheroes went through trying to save others. There is something to be said for having something to fight for, to having something to fight through.
We've ruined so many people's lives just trying to help these people who didn't even ask for it. How do you convince somebody to keep trying, to keep believing in you when that always is the end result?
Of course, without the four, you'd have crime running amok, and they keep order to an otherwise unlawful society.
I really don't think the four should be a part of the world because there's already enough chaos in this place.
I don't think the world is any better off without them. If anything, they need to be here. The four have to be here. We need them.
I think that they have genuinely done a lot more harm. They have no placement. They don't go anywhere that's desolate or where a battle can actually occur. They always take place in cities and towns and villages.
If the four didn't exist, powers wouldn't exist, so then the evil wouldn't exist. So it's a tough question.
George doesn't have enough brains to make the correct decisions because he lets his emotions take over and he does not keep himself together.
Of all the people who will be listening tonight, my thoughts are with Ali Andrews and all of those who have been affected by your actions. What is it that you would like them to hear tonight?
My thoughts are also with them. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about Ali or any of those other number of people that I've failed over the years.
If I could speak to John, I would tell him that he didn't deserve her. That he didn't deserve her heart? I know a lot of people have died, but... oh, I hope she haunts him. I hope they all do. I hope that he suffers alone. Forever.
I almost wish John would come and, say, hey.
And save the day?
Yeah. I can't believe Allie's dead.
I would like those people to know that I've always done my best, what I thought was my best, what I thought was right, to try to keep people safe, to try to use what I had for the good of mankind, for the better. I never, ever have intentionally killed anyone.
Intentionally? That's an interesting choice of word.
Well, in the court of law, intent is the key to the charges that I would be faced with, correct, Miss O'Neil?
There are two women in particular, who make this case all the more personal for you. Jill McKay and Allie Andrews. Can you tell me a bit more about Jill McKay?
Jill and I went our separate ways after the Rickshaw incident. We thought that, if we were separated, that would help keep our profile down. We just wanted to keep anyone safe who might still be affected by us.
There are rumors that you and Jill had a romantic relationship.
That definitely depends on who you ask.
What do you make of this?
Well, I guess emotions run high when you're constantly in danger.
When you saw the photo of John with Jill, what did you make of that?
She saw that online and it crushed her. I mean, we'd speculated as to whether John was charged, and we were pretty sure he was. She'd been having these dreams, more like visions, and she was convinced that he was alive, somewhere behind a mask. And then that photo just confirmed it for her. I mean, what an asshole, right? I mean, it was the day of her graduation, and she floated through one of the most important days of her life because of him. I was so angry with her, and I blamed myself because I couldn't help her, I couldn't make her see sense, I couldn't make her see that she was just a victim to him.
I would say, Allie, John is not here anymore. Whether if he was dead or hiding or whatever, didn't want to be in our lives anymore.
Did Jill contact you before the video of her death went viral?
The night before it happened, I remember she called me. I think she was trying to warn me, to tell me that she was in danger, but it was really hard to make out what she was saying, so I just couldn't put all the pieces together until it was too late.
I'm actually surprised that he would just disappear.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would do that. But then when Shadow was killed, I guess it makes sense.
You probably don't recognize this woman, seeing as how she is invisible. But of course you know her by name. Shadow. You have looked up to this woman, feared her power, outcast us. Now fear me.
People have speculated that the masked man in that video is you. That you're the one who killed all of your friends to get them out of the way.
It's a smart move on his part, whoever he is, to defame me. All you have to do is pick up any newspaper to find out who I've been painted with, with or without the mask. It was a simple job to copycat me. It was a simple job to make me out to be the monster that all of you already wanted me to be.
I mean, I was basically there. And I saw the masked man, and it wasn't Charge. It wasn't John.
You were there?
I was basically there, yeah. I mean, I was watching from a distance.
I spent my life trying to avoid the public eye. I've hunted down every single sort of criminal you could imagine, most of which you have no idea about. And that's my MO. My MO is not leaving a paper trail. So why would I suddenly leave a paper trail a mile long, murdering people, when I've never done that before.
Which leads me to the question, why would people make these videos in your name? What would that achieve?
Publicity, speculation maybe. Look, I've been forced into hiding now because I've been branded a murderer. I can't leave here. I can't be among you. I can't be among my own kind. I've allegedly murdered people on both sides. I have nowhere to go. I have no home. I don't fit in anywhere anymore. I'm a fugitive. And after I saw the video of Jill, I knew that in order to find me, they were going to try to kill everyone who I ever knew, who I ever cared about, to try to bring me out of hiding.
What happened the day that John disappeared?
The day that John decided to just disappear, Allie came here. She couldn't get a hold of John. He wasn't at home, and some picture that he kept of them by the bed was missing. I mean, this wasn't uncommon for John to pull this sort of stunt, like he would go missing for hours. But in her defense, it was never for days. I tried to comfort her. I tried to tell her that he'd gone camping or something and forgotten to tell her, but she knew something was wrong. You know, I never thought a heart actually broke until I saw Allie's break. And I can never forgive him for that.
After everything that John did to Allie, if you could say anything to him, what would you say?
When he left, the person I loved, my best friend, she went with him. She left. And then he killed her. Sorry, can we stop, please?
Yeah, can we pause?
I met Allie when I was in 4th grade. She moved in across the street. But I remember when we looked at each other that first time, something happened between us. There's something I've never been able to forget. I've never had just a response with somebody like that, just a feeling. And that feeling was why I created Charge, to keep people like that safe.
If she did, in fact, mean the world to you, why did you choose to disappear from her life all those years ago without a trace?
To keep her safe, and that worked for a really long time. Yeah, for a moment, when I was heading back to that town, I remember thinking that, I don't know, maybe we could actually be happy again.
People look at the facts. Your mother was murdered, your father and brother were murdered, the 2 women you were romantically involved with were also murdered. These are red flags.
Well, yeah, that'd be a convenient truth, but unfortunately it's too convenient to be the truth in my expert opinion. And that's why I'm here, because I did not kill Jill, I did not kill Allie, I did not kill Ben, I did not kill Charlie, I didn't kill anybody. Look, I became who I am to save people, not to kill them.
Then tell me, what finally made you become John Ford again?
The newspapers claimed it was a mugging, that some crackhead just mugged him coming home from the grocery store. But I saw the surveillance video, I knew that wasn't the case. I saw where the bullets hit. It was exactly the same way that my mother was killed. Bullets entered in the same spot, they fell the same way, they died the same way. To me, it was clearly a message. There are things that they don't release to the public from police reports, things that only I would know from being there when my mother was murdered, and things that this killer also knew. So it's hard for me to believe that some random crackhead knew all these facts about my mother's death and just happened to accidentally copycat it.
You can understand how this looks. An imposter with an intricate knowledge of your past that was never released to the public, recreating deaths from your childhood just to expose you.
Yeah, I know how this looks.
Then help me help our audience understand, who was this person, this imposter?
I can speculate to a point, but what I do know is that this person's been planning this for a very long time. They knew me, they knew Jill, they knew where I grew up, they knew my hometown, they knew my dad, they knew my brother, they knew everything. Which is why I knew that they would know Allie. And that's when I knew that I was going to have to go home again for the first time in 7 years.
Would you say that you and Allie were making progress?
Yeah, she was beginning to show what are common signs of recovery. She began having post-death encounters. And this is not uncommon in patients who have lost a loved one. However, it's normally seen in elderly patients after losing a partner of many years. Visions and hallucinations are common as well, as, hearing their voice or the sensation of touch or even smelling their perfume. They essentially, they relive moments of their life together, and it's usually a really good thing for them. But with Allie, it was, given the perverseness of the circumstances, these visions were very vivid for Allie. They became constant. And she became convinced that John was still alive.
So knowing what we do now, that John is still alive, do you believe that he would have harmed her in any way?
No, nothing we ever spoke of led me to believe that John had any physical, violent tendencies toward her. However, knowing now that he was still alive during our sessions, I would have to say that he did indeed, either intentionally or not, severely damaged her psychologically.
And is that why you suggested that she return to Greenview to help her psychologically?
Look, I'm not gonna be painted as a bad guy here.
No, you're not.
You sure?
We're just creating a timeline here. You're under no suspicion at all.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean for
I'm
that.
sure that had to be, explicitly stated. Yeah, thank you. It's a common practice that when someone is stuck in a part of the mourning process, that it's very helpful for the person to go back to the place because it helps them to resolve the issues with the person that they lost. Okay, so at the time, given the information that I had, it was the right thing to do. However, knowing what we know now, look, I don't feel comfortable speaking about this, and plus it's about time. Yeah, so I think we're done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time. When you finally arrived in Greenview, what happened?
I stalled for too long, I spent too much time thinking about all the what ifs, the hows, like how I was going to explain to her why I faked my death, why I just ran away from her for 7 years, why I did what I did, who I'd become, what's inside me. Thinking how I could try to come off as anything at all that she would want to include in her life. I was anyone who could potentially still be her best friend. By the time I got there, it was too late. It was valuable time, and it was wasted. And just like that, she was burned away with everything else.
I saw Allie. I hung out with her that same day.
The day when it happened, right?
That she died, right? And when I was going home, I saw somebody, the masked man, walk past me towards Allie's house.
Oh my gosh.
And then I stopped to see what was going on because it seemed weird. And then it just went up in flames.
Do you know who started that fire?
I believe it was the masked man, or whatever dark corner of the government that he works for.
Sorry, the government.
You haven't figured it out yet, have you?
Can we just pause just for a second?
No, we're not gonna pause. Look, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna give you 5 days, and if you haven't done the rest of your homework, don't expect any part of your story to survive. Look, I chose you for this story for a reason, Vicky. It's your turn to be my mask now, you understand?
Fuck, Vicky!
I don't know. I don't know what he was talking about.
Don't expect any part of your story to survive. That was a threat, right? My wife is gonna kill me.
You're gonna be fine. We can work this out.
But we don't have much of a choice.
But we have 5 days.
We're gonna be fine. Come and take a look at this. I'm sorry about the mess. Watch your step.
So this is why you never came out on a Friday night, huh?
Hilarious.
This is pretty intense.
There's something here. There's something we're missing. I mean, why would he give us Ted Harrington's phone records?
So, what now, Vicky?
I need a glass of wine. Do you want one?
Yeah, I do. Come on, Vicky. There's nothing here. We gotta get some sleep.
Well, the couch is just there. Good night.
More like good morning.
Hang on.
Really?
She was super smart. She was like scary smart.
I think we've got something.
Really? What is it?
She was super smart. She was like scary smart. Super smart.
Thanks for having us back. I just have a few questions that I just want to clarify. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. I just want to help, so.
Great. So, you had said that you were there when Ali was murdered.
Yeah, or just before she was murdered.
Okay. Why were you there?
I had coffee with her and then I dropped her off at her parents' house.
Okay. I also obtained a copy of your cell phone records, and they show that you received several calls from an unknown number before Ali's murder. In fact, several weeks before her murder. Do you remember those calls?
He just said he wanted to talk to her. So I showed him where Ali lived.
It's okay. The cell phone records also showed that it was you who called Ali on the day of the murder.
Yeah.
Was that to make sure that she was there when the masked man approached the house?
I didn't know that he was gonna kill her.
Did you set her up?
No, I didn't set her up. I don't really want to talk about this anymore.
And Ted, look, I know this is really hard. It's uncomfortable. But I really need you to talk to us. But this is the only way we can find out what happened to her. If you want to be honest, now is the time to do it. Otherwise, we can go.
Okay. I'm sorry that I showed him where she lived.
Do you have any idea where he was headed next?
I heard a name.
What name?
Jane Aldman.
Who's that? Does that name mean anything to you? Okay, we're done. I think we're done here. We're done.
I hope that helped.
It will. We're going to find Jane.
Okay.
Where are we going, Vicky?
Ted said he heard the masked man mention a name.
Yeah, so where are we going?
Jane Aldman. She disappeared 2 weeks after Ali died, and her body was found 1 week later.
What the hell happened to her?
The investigation's ongoing.
Hi, it's Chuck Aldman. Just come on over whenever you can. Okay, bye.
So if you could just start by telling us a little bit about Jane.
Jane was a very sweet girl. Just a normal kid. Good head on her shoulders. Never hurt anybody. There's no reason in the world for anyone to hurt her. She minded her own business.
There are some reports, and I'm sorry to bring this up, but that Jane was anything but normal.
We don't like to talk about that. It's a family issue.
No, I understand. It's just that we do have another girl who was found murdered 3 weeks before your daughter. So if there is anything that was unusual about her, it might help us with this other girl. Her name was Allie Andrews.
Did this other girl have, did she have powers?
What do you mean?
I don't expect you to believe this, but Jane and I used to go camping a lot. One day we were hiking all day just to find the perfect spot near the top of a mountain. We got there and nightfall came. We were going to build the fire, but it had been drizzling all day long, so everything was wet. But on top of that, I'd forgotten the matches. So, while I'm sitting there trying to figure out what to do next, there's this flash of light and heat behind me. I spun around so fast. And there's Jane. She's just sitting there behind a giant fire with a big smile on her face.
So you're saying that Jane could produce fire?
I told you Jane was normal. But she's special to me. And I didn't say she couldn't do special things. I knew at that moment we couldn't tell anybody. And we didn't. Even our closest friends didn't know. No one outside of our family knew. And then when she heard about the 4, she got really inspired. I mean, it was like she had found somebody that understood what she was. But before she could do anything about it, they started disappearing and dying. And then I knew I had done the right thing by keeping our secret close.
Did you notice any changes in Jane's behavior in the weeks before her disappearance?
She had found this book. I don't know where she got it, but she read it all the time. She sort of became preoccupied with it. She studied it. She took notes. I teased her that she ended up going to college after all. She looked at it so much.
The police report didn't mention anything about a book. Where?
It's because the day she disappeared, the book was here in her bedroom. The thing that was unusual about it is she had burnt it. I don't know why. Something in there she didn't want other people to see. Something in it spooked her. The police had no interest in it. I'm happy to give it to you if you'd like to look it over. I mean, if you think it would help.
We would really appreciate that. And thank you very much for your time, Mr. Aldman.
I'll get it.
What is that thing?
I'm not sure. Richard Shaw. The only reason she would have burned this is because of what it contained. But how would she know what was going to happen to her? I mean, I can't connect this with the masked man. Hang on, there's an evidence tag in the back of this. Metro City Police Department. Detective Jones.
There are nine cases in total that are similar to Jane Aldman's, but they are from all over the world, and there's no further evidence that warrants further investigation at this time.
Is Allie Andrews' death included in these 9?
No. Her body was burnt in a fire. I have no reason to believe she is connected.
How was her body identified?
Allie Andrews' body was identified through dental records.
Do you have any reason to believe that John Ford would be connected to the case of Jane?
Not at this time. If he can be found, we do need to question him regarding Allie's death.
Detective, what do you make of all this talk of superheroes?
I operated in a precinct where Charge and the Four also operated heavily a few years back. Our orders were to bring them in, but they were impossible to identify. Even now, knowing who Charge is, we haven't been able to find him. Now, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I might not have liked how they dealt with that Rickshaw nut, but I'm glad they did.
Did you ever catch this Rickshaw?
No. He eluded capture on several occasions. He was beyond a sociopath or a serial killer. He killed hundreds of people. Charge and the Four eventually stopped him. All but 2 of them died in that incident. That battle was personal. That's when I realized if there are heroes, there are villains too.
I firmly believe that there's a difference between good and evil because without one, there couldn't be the other.
It's a fine line. It's one letter. Good is God with one O out, and evil is the devil with one D added.
No, I don't think there's a difference between good and evil. The difference is in the outcome. If things don't come out the way they're supposed to, then everybody calls it evil because it's all messed up. But if it comes out and it was making anything better, then they call it good.
You get pushed into doing things you don't want to do. This country has been in fucking wars that for a while look evil and end up being for a good reason. So let history answer that.
Have you ever heard the name Carl Lawson?
That was one of John Ford's aliases. Kyle Lawson was another type of mask. He was brought in on several occasions, mainly for fighting. This one time, it was theft. He had broken into this antique bookstore. To be honest, that wasn't at the top of my list of important cases. The guy stole a book. There are worse things to steal. It wasn't worth that much. We confiscated this old book. We were going to return it to the owner the next day, but it disappeared. It just vanished into thin air. Some of the boys had read through it. They put together the connection later. It was written by Richard Shaw, or for short, Rickshaw.
Do you remember anything that was actually in the book?
I didn't give it much thought. I think some hocus pocus magic riddles, crazy cult stuff. Something called an Ultima, if I remember right.
Ultima is a form of power. Different levels of the government have different explanations or theories as to how it came to us, but they all agree in one area. Their plans to harvest these Ultimas is very confidential information. It's been floating around since the 30s, since we started making contact with these special individuals. But in order to disclose any of this, they have to admit to the existence of such beings. It's easier making them out to be fairy tales, myths, pop culture, take away their credibility however they can. But as you're now aware, more and more of these special people with these abilities have been coming to light lately, and the government will only be able to keep them in the shadows for so long before they take aggressive action.
Is Charge an Ultima?
Yes, I believe so. The 4 were all Ultimas. Charge took the longest to activate, or gestate rather. Generally, this is a characteristic of an Ultima that will become the Alpha with much stronger powers over time. But now I believe he's learning himself all over because his powers have awoken, and that is why he's being hunted. He is the last Ultima.
There have been bodies found all over the world that we believe are connected to this Ultima.
This shows what I suspected, that someone is harvesting the Ultimas. That's the reason they look like this. Whoever this is, they aren't killing for sport. This is containment, acquisitions. I would say an operation is in effect to simultaneously eradicate anyone with extraordinary abilities and stockpile them in one place. And in theory, only Ultimas can naturally do this. Whoever is in charge of this, taking all this aggressive action, this masked man, these four, are all a result of that action.
Do you have any idea who the masked man is?
The easy answer is Charge, but I don't like easy answers. It's possible that if Charge is telling the truth about how the four obtained their powers, that it could be whoever the original power source was from the crater, trying to get back what is rightfully theirs.
Vicky, I don't like where this is going. Doesn't this make you nervous?
Welcome to journalism.
I thought we were chasing Aleander's killer. I mean, this has gone way above that. Do you even think she's really dead?
Well, if she's not, we've got ourselves one hell of a story. Hang on. Vicky O'Neil.
Hey, it's Chuck Aldman. I found something I thought that might help.
We'll be right over.
Just come on over.
This might be something. Driver, we need to change direction.
Jesus, Vicky, where are we going now?
I got a call from the pharmacy. Apparently, the day that Jane disappeared, she had developed some film. Obviously, she didn't pick it up. They called me. I got it. I've looked all this over. I don't see anything, unusual, but I thought maybe you might, so.
Before we go any further, I just want to let you know we're not police, so there's only so much I can do with it.
Well, police don't seem to be real interested in what I have to say. At least you're trying to understand, so I'd like you to have it if you think it would help.
Yeah, for sure. I will look this over and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
All right, I'll return it as soon as I can. Thanks, Chuck. Have a good night.
You too.
Vicky, we should give these to the police. There's nothing here.
There must be something here. Nobody gets film developed anymore. There has to be something.
No, we need to let this go, man. We've gotten ourselves into something that's way above us. Please, Vicky, stop.
Oh my god.
Vicky.
I think I know who the masked man is.
Who's the...
We need to get the sound engineer on the phone now.
Where are you going?
How's the sound? Good. All right, and we're ready to go. Excellent. Framed up?
You told me you found what I was looking for.
Yes, I believe so. I just wanted to finalize some questions and make sure that there are no assumptions.
All right, then let's get on with it.
Let's go back to the crater. Who did you find that day?
I don't know, I never saw him again after that, but, I could feel him. We all could. The Ultima, it tests us. It only attaches to the strongest host. All of us found it, but only one of us would ever fully achieve its true power.
So the Ultima chose you?
It chooses who lives, okay? There used to be 4 here. But every time one of my friends dies, one of these disappears and something new turns on inside of me. There's only one left.
And what happens when the last one disappears?
That's what I'm trying to find out. But my guess would be that whoever kills me or witnesses my death will inherit the power of the Ultima and become the next one.
And you maintain that the masked man is the one who's trying to harness these powers?
To my knowledge, every time he kills someone like us, he receives the power that we have. He consumes or gets what we have. I believe that whoever that man is in the crater, that he is the one doing this, that he's responsible. I believe he's been watching me, testing me, seeing what I'm actually capable of, and now that he actually knows what I am, he's never going to stop hunting me.
Are you sure that the masked man is the man you touched in the crater?
We inherited his power, and now he wants them back.
I want you to take a look at this.
What's this?
I believe that is your masked man.
When was this taken?
2 months ago.
That's impossible.
Well, apparently not. John, can you confirm that is Allie Andrews?
You know that this is Allie Andrews. Why would she do this? How could she do this?
Well, I was hoping you might be able to tell us.
This is bullshit. That's why I can't tell you.
John, I have a clip I'd like you to listen to.
You probably don't recognize this woman, seeing as how she's invisible. But of course you know her by name. Shadow. One of the four. One of us.
Yeah, I've heard this before, you know that. Everyone has.
This is the same clip, but our sound engineer has stripped away the voice enhancer.
You probably don't recognize this woman, seeing as how she is invisible. But of course you know her by name. Shadow. One of the four. One of us. You have looked up to this woman, feared her power, feared us. Now
John,
fear me.
Can you tell us whose voice that is?
Thank you very much, Miss O'Neil, but this interview is over.
Whoa,
no,
what's he doing?
John, wait! We're just getting started!
Turn off the lights when you're done, okay?
John, wait!
You just stay where you are, let him leave. Okay, this is going too far.
How is this going too far? What are we going to do with a documentary that doesn't have a fucking ending? This is the ending.
No, we've got the story. We gotta stop.
Could you just get it together? This is the story. He's a fucking superhero.
We could get hurt, we could get killed.
You're going to be fine. Have you been hurt so far?
So far, but it hasn't escalated this level.
No, we're gonna be fine.
You can't guarantee that. No, I can't do this.
Are you really, now, at this point, going to make me do this alone?
This is Harold De La Puente, live on the scene here in Greenview. There seems to be some sort of a riot. I can't quite make out. Oh my God! Peter, please tell me you got that. Oh my God.
Get out of here! What are you still doing here? Get out of here now! Get out of here now! What you got to say?
Reports are still unclear, but it appears hundreds are injured and dozens are dead in what appears to be some sort of a massacre in the town of Greenview. We've just received a notice that there's a call coming in, a disturbing call from 911 from one of our affiliates.
Look at me like I'm a monster coming tonight. I'm just the one who's here to keep the monsters asleep. Give the vigilante meeting and the pain stops.
Reports continue to come in. The military is yet to respond from this homeland war zone, but these reports are still coming in from inside the lockdown. Oh my God, the bodies. Just received horrific footage from the scene of what appears to be late-night reporter Vicky O'Neil being ruthlessly gunned down in what is now being deemed the Greenview massacre.
Vicky, get back here! Don't go over there, you might get hurt! Vicky! Vicky! Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Please don't hurt me! Oh my God! Please!
We're closing in on Vigilante John Ford. We are live! We are live on the scene.
Give the vigilante meeting and the pain stops. Come on, John. It's time, John. Oh my God! Stay down. Come on, let's go. Come on, get up.
Vicky, we're gonna get shot. Come on, come on, come on. Shh, stay down, stay down, stay down. Come on, stay down. Shh. I cannot believe this is happening in front of our eyes. The Greenview massacre, ladies and gentlemen, right here.
I can't even explain it. People are turning into fire. It looks like a tornado. I can't even describe the footage. It's literally a massacre here. My God. More reports of people just being massacred everywhere. Pete, we're gonna have to find better cover. I don't know what's going on. Let's get out of here. Come on.
I was sitting in the office of the gas station, and we had a little 6-inch TV, little tiny thing. We heard about what was going on, and I remember running in and telling the mechanic.
Like, are you, what are you doing? Are you awake? Are you watching this? Can you see this? And she kept saying this. I'm like, what is this? What are you talking about? And she said, turn on the news. Like, just turn on the TV. Like, I promise it's gonna be on TV. So, remote is within arm's reach. I turn it on,
and we sat there and we watched everything unfold. It was just unbelievable. Like, I couldn't imagine something like that would happen.
I was sitting on the couch watching television,
looking at everything unfold, and made me madder than hell. Madder than hell if something like that could happen in this country.
We pulled over behind the building. We just sat there with the radio on as everything unfolded. Eventually, he did find out his family was okay, but it was pretty freaky.
I can't describe anymore. Everybody knows what we saw.
It was hard after what happened in Greenview to come back, finish what Vicky started. But I knew that I had to. What happened to us that day, to everyone, it was so vile, so evil. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
It is eerily silent as a whole town has been massacred. People were stoic in observing the memorial for the town of Greenview today. The debate on how to control superheroes continues.
I suffered from the battle and was in the hospital for 2 months. Vicky wasn't so lucky. She lost her life that day, murdered in cold blood, like the rest of the town. Vicky's death highlights the plight of the dozens of journalists who get killed every year to uncover and show you the truth.
The government has been unavailable for comment and denies any involvement with the Greenview massacre after the recent Vicky O'Neil interviews have gone viral. The masked man or woman, as recent reports suggest, is still believed to be at large. He released the following clip late last night in rebuttal to the footage. I must warn you, the footage is graphic and disturbing.
I have not slipped away. I continue to walk among you once again. Vigilante, fugitive, this is your last warning. Do not interfere with me again.
John was desperately trying to stop Allie. But it was hard to be on his side. I mean, if he hadn't gone after her and stirred it all up in a public place, all those people would still be alive. Just like that, it was over. John lost his war, blinded by his heart. Allie escaped.
You probably don't recognize this woman, seeing as how she is invisible. But of course, you know her by name. Shadow. One of the four. One of us. You have looked up to this woman, feared her power, feared us.
I dropped
now
her off
fear
and she went in the
me.
house.
You probably don't recognize this woman, seeing as
When
how
was this
she is
recorded?
invisible. But of course, you know her by name. Shadow.
It's impossible.
One of the four.
Dental records.
One of us.
I was at the
You
funeral.
have looked up to this woman, feared her power,
She's
feared
alive.
us. Now fear me.
Very interesting.
You probably don't
All right, this
recognize
interview's over.
this woman.
If that's
seeing as
real,
how she is
we're gonna have a very
invisible.
serious conversation
But of
right
course,
now.
you know
Stop
her
rolling
by
the camera.
name. Shadow.
We're gonna need to hand over that
One
tape
of the four.
immediately.
One of
The question isn't whether or not Greenview is a conspiracy. The question is just how big of a conspiracy was it? How deep does it really go? The government's been trying to keep people with powers quiet for years, using them for God knows what, trying to pull them to their ranks and eradicate them if they refuse. I believe that they wanted Greenview to look exactly like what happened with Rickshaw, copycat the incident, defame charge, and I think it worked. Who was the hero and who was the villain? We've lost the only person who could have protected us from the coming storm, our last line of defense, our last superhero. As these events continue to spill out of the shadows and plague our society, the only question remaining is, will you think before you believe?